Nüüd saab korraks sõna veel Saila, kes räägib meile sellest, kuidas nüüd see konkreetne komisjoni poolt välja töötatav automaattõlkeplatvorm riigiasutusele kasulik võiks olla.
So I will quickly go through the slides because there is repetition from this morning, and since we are running late, I will do it in a quick mode. So this we already said in the morning that we now have MT at EC, and we are now addressing multilingualism via machine translation, and we are moving from MT at EC to CEF.AT platform. And in the framework of interoperable solutions for public administrations in Europe, it has already been thought what kind of different interactions there are between administrations between countries and between EU administrations. So there are a lot of different, let's say, scenarios, use cases which are possible. And multilingualism can be almost in all of them. And so the idea, as we said this morning, is to reach the point where a person could use a public service in another member state in his own language. So the machine translation is seen as the only viable solution in order to achieve this goal. And here we have different scenarios or cases where machine translation could be used. First of all, there could be a person who does not understand the source language at all, so he or she could use it for quick understanding of the content, or for making a decision on relevance of the document and on routing it forward. Or then the other box where there's no box, and the person would understand both the source and target language, and then that would be a professional translator who would use the machine translation for producing a high-quality translation for publishing and decision-making. Or then it could be an expert user who would use machine-translated content for post-editing, for national consultation, or for national purposes. So MT at EC is already there for you. It was released in June 2013. It covers all directions between the 24 EU official languages. It is based on statistical machine translation technology using open source software MOSES, which was co-funded by EU framework programs previously, but it has been further developed from MOSES. And it was developed as part of ISA program, which is about interoperability solutions for public sector administrations. You have two options. You have a web user interface or web services, which is like machine-to-machine service. The user interface is in 24 languages. The formatting is maintained, and there are specific output formats for translation, which are TMX and XLIFF. Andres will talk about the technicalities after me. The translation can also be received or returned via email, and it can translate multiple documents to multiple languages. It also gives you an indication of the quality for different language pairs using blur scores, and there is a feedback mechanism. So if you use the service, you get a result, and then you can give feedback on the result you have received. Then for security, it's securely hosted in in the EC data center, and you can access it through ECAS, which is EC Authentication Service. The document transfers are happening over S-Testa. It's a very secure private network between public administrations in EU, or over the internet HTTPS connection. This is just a screenshot of the interface. This is for, I think, yeah. Here you can drag your files, and you have to put specific information about your file, and then press Translate Document, or you can write snippets of text on the screen and define which languages, into which language you would like to have it translated. A classical example where MT@EC won't give any results. If you write "I love you," it doesn't understand it. So it sort of tells that it's not trained for spoken common language. It is based on EU official texts. So who can use it today? So all European institutions and bodies can use it. Like I asked, since I'm now in DG Connect, I was like, what should I do to get the access? And I was told, but you are working for Commission. You just go and enter and you have full access automatically. So it didn't require any further actions from me to try it. And then also online services funded or supported by the EU have access now, and public administrations in EU and EEA countries can have access. I mentioned the Euramis database, which is a repository of multilingual content from official EU documents. And here it says 725 million sentences. I got the latest figure from end of 2015. It's 940 million sentences. It's a huge database, and here you can see a bit the what is the distribution between the different European institutions. And it's growing all the time. All 24 languages are there, but there are big differences in volumes for different languages. So there is a free access to MT@EC for public administration staff. You need to get an individual ECAS username and password, unless you already have one. And you have to have your work email address there. And then you send an email to the colleagues in DG Translation asking for activation of access to the service, and they will activate the access for you and inform about it via email. These are the online services which are now connected to MT@EC, and these are not the digital service infrastructures I mentioned this morning. These are other things which are already working with MT@EC team. So there's internal market information system, which is an intranet for more than 7,000 public administrations in the EU member states, and MT@EC supports free text message exchange in this system. Then there's Solvit, which is an online problem-solving network. It's about misapplication of internal market law. There you have free text message exchange supported by MT@EC. And then the NLEX uses it, and also Circa BC, which is Communication and Information Resource Center for administrations, businesses and citizens. And there it's used for translating documents, and for NLEX the use case is to translate results of queries. So what next? We are moving from CEF.AT to the automated translation platform of CEF. So we want to build on the existing CEF.AT services, but not to be limited to it. So we are open to other, let's say, tools, technologies, solutions as well. We want to put emphasis on secure, quality, and customizable MT for pan-European online services, but we are ready to move beyond this goal as well, and to become really a multilingualism enabler, not just an MT service. So the goal is very ambitious. And as for the digital service infrastructures of Connecting Europe facility, these are the 6 DSIs that we have chosen to be the first ones where we experiment or where we really want to tailor the system. And the basis for choosing these 6 was simply by the fact that they had expressed their own wish to do so. So it was not like forcing or anything, but they have told us that they have a need for such a service and that they would be ready to try it. Europeana is the digital European library where they would like to develop especially multilingual search function by using CEF.AT. The Pan-European Open Data Portal, as I said, is already translating or using MT for metadata translations. Then the electronic exchange of social security information is also one of the ones that we plan to support. The online dispute resolution platform already uses CEF.AT for some part of their activities, and they have, as far as I remember, the first decision or conclusions are first machine translated and published, and say there is a disclaimer saying this is a machine translation, non-binding machine translation, and then as soon as the full translation of a person done by a human translator comes out, then they replace it with this full translation. So it's used as for information purpose, like to be quick and to give the first impression of what has been decided in a specific dispute. And then e-justice is going to be one of our clients, and also Safer Internet, which is a trusted environment for children. So we are aiming at faster and more secure translation. Of course, we aim at better quality and translation for specific domains. And this is the core message which has been said already many times: we need more and better data in all languages in order to do better in this field. And this European Language Resource Coordination activity is crucial in this respect. Now we have generic EU engines like CEF.AT has been built on, as I said, on EU translations which can be about any domain. So now we want to aim at being more domain specific when we further develop the system. And here again we need data from you. I would like to say a few words about what we are planning to do from now onwards. So we are about to finish a requirements study, which is about requirements of those 6 DSIs. So they have been interviewed, and they have the so-called owners of those DSIs are Commission DGs and specific units in the Commission. and they also have subcontractors. So we have commissioned a study on asking what would they need, which multilingual services are needed for each of these 6 DSIs. And the second question we want to know is what would be the technical requirements and solutions in order to fulfill the needs that have been expressed. So the next step will be to really to start working on the architecture and buying tools, equipment. We have hired human resources already, like computational linguists and IT engineers to work on the system. And then there are going to be further contracts and also grants via which we will acquire also services. Like we would like to also go further with this awareness raising in member states and do like more like hands-on workshops, and so this is really only a start, and there are a lot of activities and a lot of work to be done from our side in order to really to start. And now we are really at the starting point. The kickoff will be early March, let's say the technical kickoff of this project. Do you have any questions or comments? But if there's no translation towards or interpretation, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's hypothetically imagine I'm sitting on a huge data set of translated text, and you just convince me that I want to give it and to contribute. What do I do with it? Is there a specific mechanism of where I put it, or do I just write to somebody and then they say we'll get in touch with you sometime?
Yes, Andres will explain it all to you in the next section. We have a mechanism for that, and we use the contractors for that, but we also have thought of the option of going directly or coming directly to DGT. If you don't want to use these intermediaries, this is also possible. If you have any doubts, you can also go directly to the colleagues in DG Translation. Yes, so this is the idea. Anything else? If you speak loudly, then...
Maybe really short one for 15 seconds. In the slides in the morning, there was a reference that it's free of charge for public entities, but there was also a footnote during the CEF program period. So
yes, so for now, since we don't know what happens after Connecting Europe facility is over, we can guarantee this access until 2020, until the program is running. But of course, the thing won't disappear, and it will, in practice, it will continue the access as well. Yes. Anything else?
So what is it that the government institutions worker gets free access to if he applies to the Department of Machine Translations, or whoever he applies to on slide 14?
So if you ask for an access, then you can just send your document to the system and you will get it back, the machine translated version, you will get it back via email if you wish. Or you can do it like online, you write, if it's a small snippet of text, then you will get it on the screen. Yeah, so please go and try. Yes. Yes, yes, and also, and then give feedback after that. I mean, this is important. Otherwise, it will never be improved. I mean, be honest about it as well. I mean, this is important.
Sorry, just a quick question.
Yeah.
Does this include access to Iran or
No, it's access to the machine translation service. It's not like the service is based on Euramis, but it's not really access to Euramis as such. Yeah. You can also write to DGT and ask more about it. This is always possible. I mean, any questions you may have also concerning the technicalities or anything, they are happy to answer as well. You can ask them, yes. You can ask them, because I don't really, I don't know. Yes. Yeah. Anything else? I just want to end by saying that it has been really interesting. I'm really happy that you have been so active today. It's been, at least for me, it's been a very successful workshop. Yes, thank you.